Every single person recommends Cape Town when you're visiting South Africa, but I spent over a month traveling across the whole country, and I'm going to tell you why the garden route is actually a better choice for tourism. My name is Michelle, and I've lived abroad for the last 8 years. I make videos about relocating and moving abroad. If you're interested in this topic, give my channel a subscribe. So I wanted to start this video by saying I have traveled most of South Africa. I originally landed in Johannesburg and I traveled to Pretoria and Harties. Then I flew down to Port Elizabeth and then traveled from Port Alfred all the way to Cape Town. So I have seen majority of the country, at least the populated areas, and I'm going to tell you the truth about the garden route. So the first thing I noticed right away was the infrastructure. The roads were all paved really well, especially along the N2. There were very few potholes and you could tell that things were very maintained here. The tourist infrastructure definitely creates a visible barrier, and you see a lot more police presence, a lot more security. Also, the bubble effect is real. Along the garden route, you're in tourist zones where there's cameras, well-established businesses, and hotels also. One thing that really shocked me in South Africa was the luxury. I stayed at the Beacon Hotel in Plettenberg Bay, and this was one of the nicest hotels I've ever stayed at in my entire life. The service was 10 out of 10, views were 10 out of 10, and the accommodation was 10 out of 10. It was busy, but also not as busy as Cape Town, which was perfect for me. The garden route has been really well established for tourism, especially in places like Mossel Bay, Knysna, Plettenberg Bay. They were just top-notch. When you get to the garden route, you can see the difference. You see more police patrol, you see more cameras, but here's the thing. It's not necessarily that it's safer there, it's just that tourism is the main economy along the garden route. Most people that are there rely on tourism to survive, so they don't want to mess that up and they don't want people to not come to the garden route to visit, so it is relatively safer in these areas. The garden route is like a small town, so of course in small towns there's always going to be less crime. It's easier to fly under the radar when you're in Johannesburg and in Cape Town, but in the garden route that's not the case. And there's not really a lot of no-go zones along the garden route. You're pretty much free to travel to all of the cities and check out the different areas. And for the most part, you're going to be okay as long as you have general awareness and of course pay attention to your surroundings. It's not like Cape Town and Johannesburg where some areas are extremely dodgy. One thing that I do want to remind you though is this is still South Africa and you should never let your guard down. You always need to pay attention to your surroundings and think of your safety precautions at all times. Just because it's safer doesn't mean it's safe. It just means that it is a safer part of South Africa. The risk is not completely gone, it's just different. Even though I felt a little bit safer along the garden route, I still didn't go out at night, I still didn't go partying, I still didn't walk around by myself. I took extra precaution regardless because I'm still in South Africa. So as I mentioned before, the main economy in the garden route is tourism, but that also can be a double-ended sword because wherever there's tourists, there's going to be pickpocketing, there's going to be theft, and that's just the reality of tourist areas anywhere you go in the world. So I think just because obviously it has a lower population and there's less people, there's obviously going to be less crime. More people equals more opportunities for crime. But because of the infrastructure of the tourism with hotels and businesses, very well prepared with cameras and with security guards and different security measures, you just feel a little bit more safe, even though you might not necessarily be 100% more safe. Of course, the locals know the patterns and don't go everywhere. You are still going to see electric fences, gated communities, but in my opinion, it was much safer than the rest of South Africa. And not only was it safer, but like I said before, it's just more of a small town feel. It's less overcrowded. You can actually drive through the cities. You can actually enjoy without being overcrowded. You can do tourist attractions and there's not a million people there. While I was in Cape Town, I was trying to do the Tabletop Mountain and I literally left because it was like a 2-hour wait. Whereas along the garden route, all of the tours that we did, we were literally the only ones there. We went zip lining, no one else was there. We got to ride camels and see flamingos, all with nobody beside us, which I really prefer. Because Cape Town is so hyped up and the tourism is huge over there, I definitely recommend visiting Garden Route if you want a more relaxed and less crowded vacation. The best part is that most people fly into Cape Town anyway, so you can still go to Cape Town and experience Cape Town and drive along the Garden Route. That is what most people do, either fly into Port Elizabeth or to Cape Town. So those are your two options, and what I would recommend, spend a couple days in Cape Town and then do the Garden Route. I think that's the best way to see the country, and you're gonna see so much more that South Africa has to offer than just Cape Town. I highly recommend it. One of the main things I noticed when I got to Garden Route was also the price differences. It was extremely expensive compared to where I had just come from, and Cannon Rocks was super, super cheap, and Port Elizabeth was also super cheap. So this kind of shocked me. I remember getting my first bill when I went out to eat in Plettenberg Bay, and I was like, oh wow, like this is expensive. It actually wasn't expensive. It was just expensive in terms of South African pricing, especially because I was there in peak tourism season, which generally is November through February because that's their summer months. So my honest opinion is that the Garden Route isn't significantly safer than the rest of South Africa, but it does feel that way because tourism is a main driver of the economy and they want to keep it that way. Infrastructure is well maintained and it is built entirely around keeping tourists feeling safe and protected. As always, ask locals for advice on where to go and where not to go. Don't wear flashy things. I literally didn't bring a single piece of jewelry or anything expensive to South Africa at all, and I actually deliberately dressed myself down while I was traveling there so that I wasn't standing out and I wasn't a target. If you're gonna be carrying around expensive bags and leaving expensive belongings in your car and expensive camera gear and equipment, that puts you at risk of it being a target. Honestly, filming this right now is making me realize like how much I have changed after being in South Africa for 4 months. It has really changed my risk assessment and just my overall caution in life. I even find myself carrying that through now that I'm here in Canada. And I'm like, Kim, Michelle, you can relax now. You're not in South Africa anymore. But it's just the reality of being there. So if you or anyone that you know is planning a trip to South Africa, don't forget to send them this video. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And let me know if you guys actually feel like the Garden Route is safer or not. Thank you so much for watching my video and supporting my channel. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It's so greatly appreciated.